I'm here talking about drugs. Kids, don't be afraid to say no. Anyone that asks you to do drugs is not your friend. Drugs can and will kill. Remember, don't be afraid to turn to your priest, your rabbi, your minister, your moms, your dads, your teachers, because drugs can kill, and if you do drugs, you'll go to hell before you die. The Super Mario Brothers movie, woohoo, let's go, was directed by the same people that brought us the Teen Titans Go to the Movies movie, and was also written by the guy that brought us one of the big Mama's House movies, and also Lego Movie 2 and Minions: The Rise of Gru. Comes to us from Nintendo and Illumination. It also brought us the Minion movies and Despicable Me movies, and those freaking little annoying, incoherent Twinkies that are forever haunting my goddamn dreams. I hear them in my sleep. I can't get the Minions out of my goddamn head. So yes, this is an animated adaptation of, wait for it, sit down, grab a mushroom, grab a goddamn pizza, go down a warp pipe. The Super Mario Brothers video games, they go all the way back to the early 80s. I mean, they've been going on for quite a while. I mean, you got the Jumpman character, in the Donkey Kong game. They had to rescue the princess. And from there, we had the one little back and forth one where it didn't really scroll. You just kind of went from one side to the other and you hit a power block and you killed some enemies and you just kept going for a while, and then you would avoid fire stuff and you could bounce off your brother and you could do this. And then Super Mario Brothers for the NES and Super Mario Brothers The Lost Levels that we didn't get for a while because it was really, really goddamn difficult with wind changes for some goddamn reason. And then Super Mario Brothers 2 that was just reskin Doki Doki Panic. Super Mario Brothers 3 with the raccoon tail. God, that was great. The Karubo shoe. Why has no other Mario game done the Karubo shoe, or at least it took a while for them to do that? And then you have Super Mario All-Stars. It was all those games Human Centipede together. You had the Mario Brothers games on the Game Boy. Super Mario World. Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island. That crying baby Mario, that little goddamn shit that wouldn't shut up. Super Mario RPG, one of my personal favorites. Love that game. I used to game stream that stuff. That was great. That was great times with my best friend Chris, a.k.a. the Dervinator. And also Super Mario Bros. 64 and so many other games. I mean, good God, Mario Odyssey has taken the world by storm. The Switch has taken the world by storm. Nintendo hit upon the best goddamn gaming mascot. He's better than Sonic. No offense, even though Sonic has had a couple pretty good movies, especially Sonic 2. And we get Sonic 3 in about a year, honestly. No, year and a half, actually. So Mario. The only point of reference that we have as far as like Mario media, that's outside the games, was the Super Mario Bros. Super Show, where they get hooked on the plumber, and yes, if anybody remembers that stuff, and if anybody remembers the intro, that was Captain Lou. Captain Lou Albano doing a drug PSA, despite the fact that his liver was basically, 80,000% alcohol. Rest in peace, Captain Lou. You were insane, but you were a great Mario. And he played the live-action Mario, and then there was a guy that played Luigi, whose name unfortunately escapes me at this current time. And they would do the live-action stuff, where they're fixing stuff on a set, and then they would go to the Mario Brothers cartoon. And there was also a Super Mario Bros. 3 cartoon that I haven't checked out in a number of years. And Mario, and then the Super Mario Bros. 1993 movie. They had great set design. The set design and costume people did a really good job on that. The directors alienated everybody, and it was pretty much the only big screen adaptation we had of anything Nintendo. At least for a good while. Why? Did you see it? If you watch it, I was 12 years old and I hated that movie. I felt like I've had to pay back my dad for a good while because he took me to movies like that. It was really, really terrible. John Leguizamo and Bob Hoskins were pretty much just drunk the whole goddamn time, because the directors kept changing shit around and everything, and it was a mess. So let's talk about Mario history a little bit more. This basically just is a bunch of references, Human Centipede together, from all the games. I mean, all the goddamn games. I mean, you go all the way from Mario Odyssey all the way back to the beginning. Tons of references, tons of Nintendo references, a whole bunch of great stuff. I mean, Nintendo with all Illumination stuff all over the goddamn place. No Minions, thankfully, but a bright, cheery, kaleidoscopic, candy-coated, mushroom-crazed fever thing. And you know what? Let's just talk about Loved it. Thought it was great. This story is like that thin. It's thinner than this piece of paper. It is literally thinner than this piece of paper. It's also a Super Mario Bros. Movie where the plot isn't really that important because fans of the games are going to love this. If you're like me, and I know I'm like me, at least I think I'm like me, I don't like me, but I am like me, you will end up enjoying the hell out of this because there are so many great references. And yes, kids will love it. Kids that are hooked on the Switch, and I don't mean the branch that Southern parents or likely other parents made their kids cut off a tree to go whip them. That was stuff that actually used to happen and probably still does. They will love it because it's bright and colorful and has goofy jokes and pratfalls and everything. Literal pratfalls because, well, Chris Pratt voices Mario. That was unintentional, but I'm just going to roll with it. Yes, Chris Pratt voices Mario. Chris Pratt, the guy that abandoned his, or gave away his elderly cat, and the cat was likely confused for the rest of its goddamn life. And also, he's a bit of a nut. I mean, just read up on him. He's not a bad actor. I just think Chris Pine's better. He's the better of the two Chris's as far as, like, somewhat youthful, Chris actors. And he voices Mario. And then there's Charlie Day voicing Luigi. Then good old Vine Sauce. They are plumbers. I know, shocking. And they are in Brooklyn, where we get reminded of a few things. Like from Brooklyn, we get reminded of a particular song that did not want to actually cause you to take a nap until Brooklyn, if you get what I'm saying. I'm going to keep this as spoiler-free as possible, but there's a lot of song inclusions that made me laugh, mainly because I was born in 1981, 90s child and teenager, and, pretty much just want anything better than the 1993 movie as far as a coherent narrative and a story, even though I respect the set design and everything that the people did. When I saw this, I wasn't so sure how this was going to go. And when I saw Chris Pratt was voicing Mario, I'm like, okay, Charlie Day, I'm not that familiar with him. He does a good job with Luigi. There's Jack Black voicing Bowser. Princess Peach is voiced by Anya Taylor-Joy. Yes, more Anya Taylor-Joy on screen is always a good thing. Donkey Kong, Seth Rogen, and by God, you can tell right away it's Seth Rogen. And Keegan-Michael Key plays Toad. Pretty much if you're not a Mario fan, you're probably not going to end up enjoying this. I'm not saying you're going to hate it. If you have a passing knowledge of Mario, you may like this. If you are so deep into it that you are dressing up like Mario almost every single day and you dress up like Mario for Mario Day, seek help. Seek help, maybe no, in all seriousness. You will absolutely love this. Kids will love it. Longtime Nintendo fans will love it. Even if, again, the story is really goddamn thin. I mean, it starts in Brooklyn where they're fixing, plumbing. They end up in the sewers and they end up in the Mushroom Kingdom. Then they have to stop Bowser from invading the Mushroom Kingdom and destroying that and destroying other lands and everything. And Mario and Luigi get separated. Mario has to figure out how to stand up for himself and has to do all this stuff. And we have power-ups and references and lots of Easter eggs. Lots of goddamn Easter eggs. Good God, just in some crowd shots of like particular stuff. One particular part where they go to Donkey Kong's world. We get a lot of references there. A lot of, if you saw the trailer, you get to see a little bit of Mario Kart, whatever type of Mario Kart you want, Diddy Kong Racing. A lot of great shit in this. And it's fun. It's nevertheless fun. Is it perfect? No. No, it's not perfect. It's an Illumination movie. So therefore, it's going to be climbing an uphill battle because Illumination is essentially the candy-coated, or like, little bubblegum type version of animation. You could argue with Disney that they're sort of like that, except Disney actually can do some emotional stuff. Illumination, not necessarily. I'm not saying that none of their things have have emotion, but Illumination is usually pretty safe stuff. And it's a pretty safe bet this movie will make some bank. And it better make some bank because it looks like they spent quite a bit on this for the cast alone. So yeah, you get the Mushroom Kingdom, you get to see Donkey Kong's land. You get to see a bunch of stuff. You get to see stuff in the background. You get to see Princess Peach being maybe a little more stand up for herself. You Bowser gets some good scenes as well. And there's a lot of really good shit to this. I really did have quite a lot of fun watching this. Even if it is made for kids, it's also made for people that were kids growing up on these goddamn games. And it was fun. It was absolutely fun. Go and watch this. Spoilers are going to come up in a bit, just so you know. Not right now. I'm keeping this as spoiler-free as possible. But you get to see references. And this is during the movie, by the way. You get to see, references to Mario 3 levels, Super Mario World. No sun that tries to attack you like in that Mario 3 desert level. God, I hated that sun. Good God. Give me back my son! What are you doing here, Mel Gibson? Go insult more Jewish people for no reason. It ends up just being fun and colorful and great. And sure, some of the comedy doesn't necessarily land, but it's a good, it's a thin story, but it's a good story about brothers rising up back on their feet and defeating an evil Koopa. And you also get the sounds from the video games, and it's just fun. It hits that nostalgia vein and keeps tapping into it like it's a goddamn maple tree. And it will keep tapping into it, and it will keep doing it. Sure, if you think about it, the movie has pretty much a basic plot and is kind of shit from a narrative standpoint, but it's also a Super Mario Brothers movie. If you are expecting a deep narrative from a Super Mario Brothers movie, instead of something that's fun with some good Easter eggs that you can look out for and everything while the kids are running around like crazy. There were a few kids actually dressed up like Mario and Luigi. It was cool. That's good parenting right there. Let your kids express themselves. So yeah, I'm going to get into spoilers here in just a little bit. But go watch it. It is absolutely worth watching. 100% worth watching. If you're a Nintendo fan, you're going to love it. Hopefully this leads to more stuff. Maybe they do a Legend of Zelda movie. Excuse me, princess. So yeah, as for the spoilers, 3, 2, 1, let's go to the spoilers. Okay, spoilers. Warning, spoilers. Okay. We get, once they are in once we establish they're in Brooklyn, they try to fix a house or fix a leaky sink. They put all their money into this plumbing business, and the Super Mario Brothers plumbing thing, like the old school Mario stuff, is on there. And then they have a No Sleep Till Brooklyn playing while they're racing along some 2D type level where they're trying to get through. Luigi's being bumbling, Mario's being more driven. They fix this stuff, but the dog was pissed that Luigi stepped on his bone and broke his treats, and now he's trying to get revenge. They end up getting, basically, the house ends up kind of getting destroyed because the dog ends up getting pissed and trying to attack him. They lock him in the shower, and then after he busted this stuff up, that ends up getting all ruined. So now their business is pretty much toast. There was this guy that they used to work for that is kind of a dick that was insulting them about starting their own business. And then they're at home. They're kind of being made fun of by the dad. The mother's being supportive. Very Italian. Yeah, let's eat the pasta, linguine, and all that and everything. God, Italian people watching this are going to hate me. Gonna go all Mussolini. Okay, no, let's move on from that. They end up seeing a news report. Hey, there's a leak in Brooklyn. Let's go fix it. They swim down into the sewers. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, we get that. And then they end up trying to fix it. That doesn't work. They end up busting through this wall, and they find this underground area that has a warp pipe that Luigi gets sucked into, and then Mario gets sucked into. And then they're on this, like, Star Road thing, seemingly. Now Rainbow Road. Rainbow Road comes up later. Star Road and this warp thing and everything. And this is after Bowser, by the way, in the opening scene had destroyed the Pengies, the little penguins, the Ice Kingdom, and gotten the Star of Invincibility that he wants to use to impress Peach so he can marry her. Because Bowser, for whatever reason, doesn't know how to take no for an answer. And then, after they get separated, Luigi gets sucked over into the Dark Realm, or the Dark Worlds, as a Dark Lands. Mario ends up befriending, or Toad rather, befriends Mario pretty quickly. He wants to see the princess. Eventually sees the princess. The princess is all badass, like trying to get to where she wants to save the Mushroom Kingdom. So we're going to go to the Kong Land. And we're going to go get their help. And then Mario ends up having to prove himself on an obstacle course that Peach is able to beat. because she's been there for so goddamn long. She grew up there. Mario has problems with this, but he does get a power-up. Now, Mario hates mushrooms. That was something else that was established in Brooklyn. But he has to eat mushrooms to grow. The drug PSA intro actually makes a lot more sense here. And from there, he does the obstacle stuff. We get the breakable blocks, the little ring-type blocks that hang upside down like this that fall down when you go on them. And he has the mushrooms. And then they discover later there's fire flowers, a whole bunch of other powers and everything. It's really good stuff. It's really good fan service. Toad goes along with them after they end up, after Peach decides, yeah, you can come with. And they go off, and then Bowser finds a way to get Luigi because the Shy Guys get a hold of Luigi after Luigi gets away from a whole bunch of dry bones. Evil, the Koopas with all the skin taken off. That's kind of a creepy scene. That might actually creep some kids out, even if they're fans of the games. And then he gets in a house and has the flashlight and does all the Luigi Mansion style, so a reference to that possibly happening. And Shy Guys show up. And the Shy Guys I always found to be the creepiest Mario villains. They really are creepy. And then from there, they take him on a hot air balloon to Bowser. And Bowser's got a whole bunch of prisoners, including this weird star child that I assume is from Mario Galaxy. I'm not actually totally sure, or maybe it's just a character they put in there. But it's like, there is no escape. The only relief is the sweet relief of death, or however he said. It was just really, really being defeated. The Pengies are there, the little penguins, the Penguin King, various other characters. And then Bowser establishes with his, they're having this rock concert, metal concert. He establishes what he wants to do. He wants to take the star and ask Princess Peach to marry him. And they're like, yeah, ew, what? And they were all confused. They thought they were going to do some destructive shit. And then it turns out that he's a big softy at heart. He's even playing a song at one point on a piano that said Ludwig von Koopa in reference to one of his kids from Super Mario World and other games. And then there's a Kamek, I think it's Kamek, that's a little wizard, little Koopa wizard that, does the magic stuff and everything. I always hated those fuckers. They were so goddamn hard to hit. If you didn't hit them just right, they would teleport around and then you'd be fucked. You might as well just run away from them as quick as you can. But Jack Black makes good use of the fact, the singing and everything like he's done in other movies. To think that Jack Black started off with very small cameos in movies like I Know What You Did Last Summer. No, I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. No, really, he's in that. He's the Rasta guy that gets killed. Sorry, the movie's been out for 25 years. But he ends up, he's voicing Bowser here and having a blast. You can tell he's having a blast. And then Peach references that she may have come from a different world or may have come from a different land, because she came through the warp pipe as an infant. Great parenting there. They must have had a pipe in their goddamn house or let the kid wander into a goddamn sewer. And the Toads took her in, and she's the princess. And then Mario talks about trying to stand up for himself. His dad doesn't really see much in him. And then they get to Kongland. And we even get a bit of the DK Donkey Kong, the DK Crew Donkey Kong 64 rap that was terrible, absolutely terrible, but great. But also terrible. Cranky Kong is the leader of the Kongs. He's the one that was doing the, in the beginning of Donkey Kong Country. There's Diddy Kong there. There's whatever the hell the other Kong was. It was not Daisy. The other one. The other one that was in Donkey Kong 3, whose name escapes me right now because the Donkey Kong Country games actually gave me anxiety with how crazy they were. They're fighting in an arena, and if Mario can beat Donkey Kong, then he'll win. Well, Cranky made it fair by putting power-ups there, and Mario would get power-ups. Well, he ended up at one point getting a blue mushroom, which, if you remember from Super Mario Bros. The Lost Level, actually shrinks you. And then he had to figure out the power-ups and everything, and it seems like Kong was going to win. He's all confident and everything, and all the throwing the barrels. And then Mario gets the cat suit from Super Mario World 3D. The one for the Wii U, I think. He gets that and ends up actually, zipping around doing that and ends up beating Kong. So then they join. And then we get some comedy with Kong and Mario not caring for each other. They go and get some carts. Pick your cart. They're spinning the stuff around. You know, getting all that kind of stuff. It's great. Just all the great sound effects and all that. And then they're going to go on Rainbow Road and they're going to go off. And Bowser had tortured Luigi to get information about Mario. And then was like, oh, they're going to try to get the drop on me. I'll get the drop on them. Sends a bunch of Koopas out and a bunch of Troopas, Super Troopa, out to Rainbow Road. Great chase sequence here. Great stuff. You get the shells being bonked and they go into their shell and then bonked around a blue turtle shell reference at one point, which was great. Mario and Donkey Kong get knocked off the track. Peach and Toad race away because everybody else is captured to go back to the Mushroom Kingdom and warn everybody. And Kong gets knocked out and Mario saves him. And then remember that giant eel type thing from Super Mario 64? Yeah, that thing swallows him. And then they have to use a rocket from one of Kong's, from Kong's cart to get out of there. And they manage to get going. And Bowser is going to take over the Mushroom Kingdom if Peach doesn't marry him. She says no, and then he holds Toad hostage with magic, or Kamek does. Kamek, however you say it. And then Peach is like, fine, I'll marry you. But then it ends up being a ruse. She ends up having a bouquet from Toad that has an ice flower in it. I forgot about the ice flower. And she's using all this stuff for this to freeze everybody, including Bowser. King Bob-omb is there from the first level of Super Mario 64. She ends up lighting him on fire. But that stops her power. While these prisoners that are being, Luigi and everybody are going to be lowered into the lava in a sacrificial show of love. Donkey Kong and Mario arrive just in time. They bash through this course. Donkey Kong gets a fire flower briefly. Mario gets a mushroom. They're doing all this stuff. He gets the Tanuki suit that doesn't turn into a statue, oddly enough, in this. That was the full raccoon thing, by the way, just in case you don't remember, or in case you have blanked out because I'm going along. But he does that and spins around and everything, and they manage to beat Bowser until Bowser says, I'm going to release the Super Bill, the Super Bullet Bill, and it's going to go down. Then Mario, in his infinite wisdom, uses the tail and whacks it in the eye, and then it gets pissed and chases after him. Chases after him and does all this stuff, and then they go through the warp pipe. And everybody goes through the warp pipe, including Bowser's land and everything. So half of Brooklyn is just flattened at this point. And the invincibility star is still there. So, what ends up happening is, it seems like Mario's screwed. Mario and Luigi, they're getting beaten. They're getting beat down. Everybody's getting beat down because Donkey Kong, Daisy, Peach, and Toad are there. And then suddenly, Luigi stands up for himself after being all cowardly and manages to stop Bowser's fire with a manhole cover. It's really, really strange how he does that. And then they grab the invincibility star at the same time, and then they beat Bowser into submission. And they beat up all the troops, a lot of Koopa Troopas, as it were. And then Bowser ends up getting a little mushroom, or the blue mushroom, in his mouth, gets shrunk down and gets put in a jar. And then he's put in a cage, and he's playing a little piano and stuff like that, even in one of the end credit sequences. But Mario and Luigi now are in the Mushroom Kingdom after saving Brooklyn, even though half of Brooklyn was destroyed during this whole damn thing. They made their parents proud. They're in the Mushroom Kingdom to fix shit, I guess, or just have more adventures. It doesn't really matter. It's a Mario Brothers movie. And then we get an end credit sequence. Yoshi! We have a Yoshi egg, because we're going to get Yoshi. They had a little bit of Yoshi's Island with all the colored Yoshis there, but we're getting Yoshi. So yeah, there you go. Well, hope you guys had fun watching the Super Mario Bros. Movie if you're watching at this point. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Riplin. I'll see you soon.